What we're talking about today is wrists. Wrists can be hugely problematic for things like handstands, where we're trying to put a lot of pressure through that shape, or for front rack. Okay, we're holding the bar kind of on our shoulders. Now, often with the front rack, especially, we assume that it is wrist related, and same with the handstand, but often it comes from the shoulder. So this is a sneaky session in that, yes, we're going to do wrists, but we're also going to do shoulders. And as a result, hopefully we'll get more comfortable with our positions. Okay, so even things like burpees and push-ups will get a lot easier. Sound good?
Good for me.
Cool. So what we need to do, let's get a little bit of blood flow going to start off with. We're going to go, you can go standing, you can go kneeling. Doesn't really matter too much. We'll do some circles with those arms. We're thinking like 10 nice big circles one direction, and then 10 nice big circles the other direction. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit awkward. Super tricky as you do these circles to keep your triceps locked. It's easy to try and bend your arm, but we're really going to try and have better discipline than that. So both directions. We feeling crunchy or are we feeling okay?
Crunchy?
A little bit crunchy.
Okay. And then give yourself a pat in the back just for doing such a good job. Trying to alternate your arms. Oh, that is fairly awful. All right. So, like I said, we're going to get the shoulders kind of moving well first. And then once the shoulders are taken care of, then we can really hammer into those wrists, knowing that we're in the best possible position. Okay, so what we're going to look at are the four main positions our shoulder can get into. Okay, so I'll show you from the front and then I'll show you from the side as well. So we've got elevation, we've got depression, we have protraction, and we have retraction. So I'll show you from the side. Elevation, depression, protraction, and retraction. So the movement we're going to do involves all four positions. Okay, it's similar to a dislocate, but it's unilateral, i.e. we're going to do it on one side and then we'll do it on the other side. So it's called a Xiaoping. The Chinese guy did these and he was just pure jacked and had awesome shoulders. So we're going to hold on to our little weight, be that a tin or a plate, and with our tricep nice and locked. Our shoulder here is depressed, and then we're going to lift our palm forward. In this position, we're trying to protract as much as possible. Then we continue with the palm leading up through elevation. Then we're going to rotate out to the side and try and rotate back so the palm is facing behind us. We go back through retraction, back down to depression. Okay, I'll show you a quick one from the front. So the whole time, we're trying to stay as close to the center of our body as we can. So we're going to do like 3 to 5 on one side and then 3 to 5 on the other side. Let's start with your typically weaker arm. Okay, for me, that's my left arm. So I'm going to grab that plate, I'm going to hold it with the palm facing forward. I'm going to depress the shoulder, and then I'm going to reach that plate forward, protracting the shoulder, and then keep leading with the wrist up, 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 up. This is where it gets tricky. Elevate that shoulder, try and cover your ear. Then turn that wrist 180 degrees so it's now behind us. You can turn the torso if you need to, and you're going to slowly lower it down, following the middle of the body, back down to depression. Protraction, elevation, rotate, retraction, depression, protraction, elevation, rotate, retraction, depression. Do 2 more. Protraction, elevation, rotate into retraction, depression, and last one, protraction, elevation, rotate into retraction, and depression. Now, you guys are tiny, all right? So I can't actually see if your wrists are in a good position when we do that. I'm just going to trust you, all right? So let's go on the other arm. Again, wrist is facing forward, arm is fully locked out. As we go forward, the wrist stays forward. As we go up, the wrist faces back. Now we rotate all the way around. The wrist faces behind us. Back to retraction, down to depression. Okay, sweep all the way forward, all the way up, rotate, all the way back, all the way down. We're really trying to feel the muscles between the shoulder blades. Doing a lot of work. Once we rotate at the top and start to come back, trying to pull that right through the center of the back. As we lift up in front, that movement comes from our bicep, even though our arm is straight. Nice. Just as big a circle as you can muster, all the way up. Rotate. Back. Down. And last one. All the way up. Rotate. Back. And down. Oof. All right. Any issues going on there?
No, not too bad.
Perfect. Happy days. Cool. The nice thing about that is it allows us to engage the muscles that are required to do the movement. So as we are lifting the arm forward, because our wrist is turned, the bicep, there's 2 heads to the bicep, hence why it's bicep. One head attaches from the top of the arm to the forearm, the other attaches up into the shoulder. The bit that goes into the shoulder is the bit that helps us lift that arm up. Okay, but often we lift the other way with the delt, like so. Okay, so that allows us to really engage that bicep as we go up, and then rotate, and then get those shoulder blades kind of cooking to get us round. If our shoulder blades and biceps are doing the right thing, that in itself takes a huge amount of pressure off our wrists. Okay, so sweet. What we'll do is give our shoulders a quick break. You're going to grab your brush shaft or your towel. Okay, if you have a towel, you're going to drip that towel down in front of you like it's a screen. Okay, and from there we're going to scrunch it up. So you're pulling up with the knuckle. Okay, so the knuckle is pulling up, and then the other knuckle pulls up and up. Okay, I don't want you to scrunch it the other way where the knuckle goes down. Okay, I want you to build up these extensors. Okay, if you got a brush shaft, you're going to hold it in front and you're going to turn it back towards you. So again, the knuckle here is pulling back and we're building up these extensors. Okay, let's go for 30 seconds, starting in just a jiffy, as soon as I get my watch set up. Wonderful. 3, 2, 1, here we go. We're going to turn it as quickly as we can while keeping our arms straight. If you get your towel completely scrunched up, just drop it back down again and go again. I don't know about you, but my forearms are just burning. Oh my goodness. Oh, they're so hot. Keep turning, get those extensors cooking. Oh, almost there. And time. Woo. How are we feeling down here, gang?
Yeah, feel that tough.
Pretty
Right.
toasty, right?
Surprised I was getting to burn so much.
You what, sorry?
I was surprised by that.
Yeah, who'd have
More
thought
than
such a
that.
simple exercise? So actually, it's a great way. Oh my goodness, that's so bad. If you are looking at improving your grip strength, it's a super simple exercise to do. You get a huge amount of blood flow through that muscle, and that's half the battle for getting muscles to get bigger. Okay, so We're going to come back to that in a little jiffy. And we'll do it the other way, build up the opposite muscles. In the meantime, we're going to go back to our shoulders, and we're going to do the exact same movement, but instead of going forward, like so, we're going to do it in reverse. So we're going to go up behind us with the knuckle first. And here's the tricky bit. As it comes up, keeping the knuckle pointed forward, then we rotate the knuckle out to the side and then down and then all the way back. Whew. So, least favorite arm, grab that weight or tin or whatever it is that you're using, lock out the tricep, and we're going to pull that knuckle behind us. Imagine we're giving someone a dig in the goonies. Up, and when you get to about horizontals where things going to get spicy, let's really try and keep it coming up as close to the center as you can. Rotate out to the side so that as you come down, the bicep is up in the air, the palm is up in the air. Okay, we're just going to do 3 of these. Here's number 2. Again, rotate that torso as much as you need to in order to keep that arm close to the center of the body. That's it. Good. One more, reaching back as far as you can. Oh, feel those shoulder blades cooking. Woo. And rotate all the way down. Lovely. Same the other side. Arm locked out. We're going to reach up, 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 up. Oh, I don't know, gang. My right arm might be worse than my left. I thought it was the other way around. Whew. The old classic. Which one's worst? Whichever one I'm doing. Ugh. Good. Squeezing that tricep. Reach as far back as possible. Up. Rotate. And down. Whew. What one do you find easier, forward or back?
Forward easier.
Forward is easier. Yeah. Okay. Joe, were you the same?
Yeah, it was the same.
Sweet. Okay, gang. So same process with our towel or brush shaft, except if it's a brush shaft, we're going to turn it away from us. So those knuckles go down, and then the other one goes down. If it's the towel, we're scrunching it back the opposite way. Okay. 30 seconds on the clock. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Trying to lock those triceps again. So we're just isolating the forearms. These are the muscles we tend to use a little bit more, so they might last a bit longer before they burn up. Keep going, keep spinning it fast as you can. Crank it up. And time. All right, what do we feel there, guys?
Not as bad as the other one, but still felt some burn.
Still felt a wee bit burny, but nowhere near as bad as the first one.
Yeah.
Andy, would you agree?
Yeah, exactly the same, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. That makes a lot of sense. So both of you guys in general struggle with that position where we're in a handstand or we're doing a push-up or something like that. Sometimes those wrists naturally kind of go out to the side. I mean, if we think about it when we squat, like squat here with our feet together, we've got a great angle going on at the ankle. Now, if my ankles weren't overly mobile, what my body would realize is that my knees are not here, so I'm losing balance. The only way to get around that is to duck our feet out so that we can then get away with the fact that our ankles aren't mobile enough. So when we go to do like a burpee or a handstand or anything like that, the same thing happens. Our fingers tend to go out to the side to take pressure off. Okay, that's what we're going to work on now. So nice simple stretches. We've done these ones before. We're going to kneel with our fingers in front. We're going to try and grab the ground with our fingers so our palms are fully pushed down like a suction cup. We're going to lock those elbows. We're just going to rotate the elbows. Okay, so the elbows go pointing to your legs and then pointing out to the side. Finding that okay? Nice. I want you to try it with your shoulders protracted. So you're spreading your shoulders. You got that hunchback going on. Still rotating. And then I want you to try it with your shoulders retracted. So you're pinching your shoulder blades together, pushing your chest towards the floor. Got to be careful here that your head doesn't do the chicken. It goes stretched forward. It's just the shoulder blades. And relax. Cool. We okay in both positions?
Yeah.
Any difference?
I thought it was harder to turn my wrists on the, or turn my elbows on the protracted
Yes.
one.
Yeah, when we're here.
Sense, yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that's cool. A lot of that movement then comes from the shoulders. What we're going to do is, now that we can rotate those elbows, is we're going to keep them protracted, and we're going to scoop the elbow pit forward. So it's over like the middle finger, and the bony part faces the knees. From there, keeping grip on the floor, we're going to push our elbows over our middle finger. Okay, so we're really leaning forward, keeping that protraction. Okay, in gymnastic terms, what we're doing here is planching forward. That's it. Trying to get as much weight through the hand here as we can. We could bring the knees further back so that as we go forward, there's more weight going through the hand. We even do the same thing on our feet. I'm not going to do that because that feels like awful. Nice. And relax. We'll just wiggle those wrists out a little bit, give them a quick break. Do some one way and then do some the other way, as it feels just so uncoordinated. All right, and then we're going to do the same position, except fingers are going to go out to the side and then all the way back to the knees. Elbows are locked, so we're really squeezing those triceps. And if you look at your bicep, you might also see it start to shift a little bit too. Then pushing through the pan, you're going to push yourself back over towards your feet. Good stretch for the flexors of the forearm. Ones where you can see all the veins. And relax. Which one did you find worse, gang? Did you find stretching over the middle finger or pulling back towards your body?
Pulling back.
Pulling back. Okay. The third and final version of those flexor stretches we'll do is with, instead of the fingers out and back, we're going to turn them in and back. So all the way rotated in. A lot of this movement comes from your shoulder blades, so don't stress if you can't do it. But just go in as far as you can. So you're pointing towards your knees, and then from there, try and push your shoulders apart in that protraction. Okay, same idea. We'll push back through the wrists towards your feet. Do some pulses. Should go a bit more. Oh dear. It appears I've been neglecting my shoulder mobility. This feels awful. Did not used to feel awful. Nice. Might get a wee bit of a pec stretch here too as well, depending on how tight you are. And relax. Okay, same idea. We'll just do a few little circles of those wrists. So those are all the flexor stretches, okay? Those were the ones that we find easier when we were doing the tile or the dial. So the bad news is now we're going to do the ones that were terrible on the dial and tile, which means they're probably going to be terrible now too. So might as well just get stuck in. We're going to go fingers pointing back towards the knees. I'd highly suggest bringing them in as close as possible. Then elbows locked, trying to scoop those elbow pits forward. That's a challenge in itself. That's totally cool. But if you can do it, then we're going to start to push back a little bit. Same idea as before, pushing through the wrist, feeling the stretch through those extensors. And then without changing the hand position, we're going to rotate the elbows out to the side. And then also stretch ourselves back a little bit. Might be more restricted or you might be less restricted here. That covers all bases. Again, it depends on where you're tight. Forearms are incredibly complex. There's just muscles and tendons going everywhere. If you've ever seen a skeleton drawing or an anatomy textbook, it's just awful. I spent weeks trying to revise and learn it for my exams. All right. Whew. I feel a wee bit more achy. Yeah, let's get some juice going around those joints again. Let's just give them wee circles. Feeling good. Alrighty, so we're going to go back into that position, but we're going to do it in as comfortable a way as we can. Okay, so for that might be where you sit here and you reach them back behind you. Okay, so that way there's very little angle happening at the wrist. Okay, if you're a little bit more mobile, you might bring them further forward, etc., etc. Okay, so go where you're comfortable. Then what we're going to do is, keeping the arms locked, we're going to try to make a fist. And then relax the fingers out. We'll do that about 10 times. A couple of seconds up in the fist, and relax it out. When you get to that point where it feels like you can't go any further, if you just try for another millimeter and have a feel for what it is that's cramping. Try and pinpoint the muscle or the tendon. And see then, maybe if you roll the fingers first into, tight position and then try to curl them into your hand. See if that changes it too. Just about exploring your shapes, exploring your control, and see how you can manipulate it. Maybe you go little finger first. Maybe you go index finger first. And once you've done that, circle it out, get some juices going. Any feedback from that? You feel it about here? The forearm?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So the opposing version of that, those are the muscles that were working quite well earlier on. And the opposing version then, we're going to do like an Ironman. Okay, so as if you were a police officer going halt, you're going to have that arm up and outstretched, and you're going to pull that middle finger back as far as you possibly can. So you're trying to create that nice push-up position or that handstand shape. We're going to hold that for about 20 seconds. Nice. If you're doing this in front of the camera or a mirror, and you can see the angle that you're creating there, pretty useful. You can see how close it is to a handstand shape and see why it might be getting tight when we go into those shapes. Now relax. Do the other side. Really trying to pull them back as hard as possible. I don't know why, but my hand is shaking like a leaf. Anyone else is shaking like a leaf? Is that just me?
Yeah.
A little bit. 4. And relax. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to leave it mostly there. We have done and tackled most of the things we can for our wrists. The only thing we could really tackle then is the fingers, and making sure we've got full range out of the fingers. That sort of 90-degree stuff. I have one hand that just doesn't bend at the knuckle. The other one bends really well at the knuckle. I don't know why that happens. Anyway, what we've done there is a very thorough screen. Shoulders down through the arm, right to the wrist. The body is massively intelligent. It loves to protect us. And how it does that is it measures imbalance. So, for example, let's take our forearm. If our flexors are stronger than our extensors, our body will limit the amount of movement we can get until a point is our extensors matched there, our flexors, and we could then get that full range with control. So sometimes a mobility issue or flexibility issue is actually caused by a muscle imbalance. And by identifying what that imbalance is, we can go to correct it. Other times it's nerves, other times it's actual muscle length, but that's a whole separate issue. So hopefully from that, you've got some tools that you can play around with. If you figured one bit that is just terrible and you absolutely hated, probably spend a bit more time doing that. Cool?
Yep, that's
Yeah, thank you very
brilliant.
much.
All right, guys. So think front squats, think protracted shoulders, elbows lifted, and those hands then get turned up that way. Okay, that's our position. If our shoulders are pinned back, you can already see how much further back that bar is sitting against my neck. The more protracted we get the shoulders, the easier that front rack position. Andy, you had a question about that through the week, so I thought I'd just hit it up there.
Yeah, definitely
Cool.
causes me problems.
Yeah, and it's super uncomfortable because then it starts to play down in the wrist, then the elbows start to drop, and then there's even more weight on the wrist. It's just nasty. It's like when you get a cold, you get a runny nose. The runny nose isn't the problem. It's the cold. It's the bacteria or the flu or whatever, the virus or whatever it is that attacked you. Quite often, it's not our wrists that are the problem. It's often the shoulder blades and getting that into position. But that's not to say that we can't do more on the wrist anyway. Cool.
That's great. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, gang. Have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you guys real soon.
Great. Yeah.
All right, thank you.